Hi, I'm Brian Russell, and I want to give you some tips and some tactics to make your learning experience the best it can possibly be. Because when we learn new things, we're faced with various roadblocks, and most of them come back to the mindset that we bring to the task. No matter how open we may think we are, most of us get set in our ways and we struggle to move out of a fixed mindset. But I want to talk about a key to developing a growth mindset, which is essential for learning new things, because you can learn new things regardless of your age. You can be 5 years old, you can be 75 years old. Our brains are capable of dynamic learning, but we have to break out of a fixed mindset that says things like, this is too hard, I'm never going to be able to get it, I'm not good at blank. And the key to that is knowing your why. Because whenever you learn something new, you're faced with a series of essentially mental roadblocks and we have these levels of learning here. And whenever, especially at the seminary, we're talking about learning Greek, learning Hebrew, learning inductive Bible study, learning exegesis, things that you've probably never done before. And the struggle is when you come and do something new, you don't even know what you don't know. That's what's unconscious incompetence is. You don't even know what you don't know. And the word incompetence, there's no judgment attached to that. That isn't a negative word. That just simply means that you lack competence in a skill. And the hard thing is when you come into something new, you don't even know the skills that you lack. So one of the hardest roadblocks that you have to get through to learn something new is to go through these initial two stages of, first of all, not even knowing that you don't know something. So you come in like you've been reading the Bible your whole life, and suddenly you're confronted with this new methodology that opens up incredible depth to you, and it's stunning. You're thinking, I could never learn this. And then as you begin to struggle with it, you become conscious of what you don't know. Now, this is the key. At this place where we become conscious of what we don't know, this is where a lot of people quit. Like, I've taken Latin dance classes a couple different times in my life. I've taken salsa lessons and I've taken bachata lessons. And I can just tell you, I'm from Ohio. I never learned to dance at all, and I suddenly enter into these dance studios, hearing music that I'm not used to, the way the rhythms and the beats, and I'm seeing all these persons making it look so easy, and I feel utterly incompetent. At first I thought, oh, this will be fun, but then again, I'm like, oh my gosh, I had no idea this was going to be this complicated. And then I start taking the lessons, and the teacher breaks it down, and I'm still thinking, I can't get my arms to match up with what my legs are supposed to be doing. I'm conscious of what I can't do. And the temptation at that point was, well, I just got to give this up. I can't dance. Well, this is where the secret comes in. You want to think about, in learning, what are your outcomes, right? And so, like in a dance class, I simply wanted to be able to dance with my wife. And whether it's on a cruise when you have a chance to dance, or at a wedding, or at some occasions, and be able to do a salsa or a bachata because she enjoys that, that's a good thing. So that was going to be my outcome. But when you hit these stages, when you get into a class and you just feel overwhelmed, or you feel like you're the worst dancer in the class, or you can put yourself in there. You take inductive Bible study, like, oh my gosh, this is baffling. Or Greek or Hebrew, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm not good at languages. This is so hard. There's so much material to learn. Well, you want to get back to your outcome. What do you want? And this is where it's vital, especially at the seminary, because what are we about? What's the outcome? Obviously, if you're in inductive Bible study class, the outcome is you want to learn to be able to study Scripture well, right? You want to be able to interpret the Scripture for the church and for the world. Greek and Hebrew, you want to learn languages as skills. Exegesis, you want to be able to put all those things together, inductive Bible study and the language, to be able to dig into the Scriptures. Those are the outcomes that you want. And you can look at the syllabi. They have learning outcomes, student learning outcomes. But I want to suggest that if you just focus on that, that doesn't help us to get through these levels. the key is to recognize what the outcome is, but more importantly, you want to know why. And this is what I really challenge you to do at the beginning of this class. Again, I'm going to teach you how to do all of these things. If you stick with me, I will get you from unconscious incompetence, and some of you are ahead of that. I will get everybody to at least conscious competence. When you get to this point, we're talking about mastery. Some of you may get there this semester, but these are lifelong skills. We'll be able to get everybody to here, but the key for you to get yourself over the hump, because you're going to run into walls at different times, it's to get your why. So why do I want to learn how to dance? You know, it's really easy. I love my wife very much, and I want to be able to do things that she enjoys. So you know what? I can learn how to dance because I have that why. And once you get your why, then you'll do what? You'll do massive action. In other words, you'll do whatever it takes to learn. We all have different learning styles. I'll present the material in different ways. But instead of saying things like, well, I'll never be able to do this, you need to ask questions. What would it look like for me to be able to do that? What do I need to look up? What resources? How do I need to ask Brian to help me out? What questions do I need to age? When you get your why, you'll take massive actions which will let you get your outcome. So the key to learning then is to know your why. And why do we do things? Why are you learning Hebrew? Why are you learning Greek? Why are you learning inductive Bible study? Why are you learning exegesis? It's not just to get a grade or to get some SLOs, right? It's because God's called us to preach and teach and live out the Holy Scriptures. Imagine the people in your life that you're going to be able to open up the Scriptures to and give them a message of hope that they're desperately needing. You know, my goal as a teacher, I want to unleash each one of you to be competent, inspiring, wonderful ambassadors of abundance for God's kingdom. You know what? Because that's my why. I'm going to do whatever it takes to help you. You bring that same intention into these classes, and you can learn anything. But remember, it's when you're up in these levels, it's hard. But the breakthroughs happen when you embrace your why, take massive action, and allow yourself to move into these higher levels. And essentially, what we want to get to attain the SLOs is, it doesn't mean that you've mastered everything. It doesn't mean that you don't have to look up at your notes to do something, but when you get to this level, you're competent. You can do it well as long as you think about what you're doing. But then eventually, if you stick with all the things that you're working with, you'll become unconsciously competent. So, like, go back to dance. And again, you all would laugh if you saw me dance, but I've gotten a lot better. I'm no longer like, when I took my classes, I went from like the worst person to, I don't know, the third or fourth worst person. But that was really good for me. And I got to the point where I knew what I was supposed to do. And if I thought about it, I can do the moves. I still haven't got to this point yet in dancing, but I will say this. When I started at Asbury back in 1991, I was able to get to here in my classes. And I've kept practicing, I've kept studying, I've kept learning. And so now when I do Greek, when I do Hebrew, I don't really have to think about it except when I'm teaching. And then a teacher takes what's unconscious and breaks it down so that people at these other levels can rise up there too. Again, I'm Brian Russell, and as you can tell, I'm really excited about what we're going to do in our classes. What do you need to do? What's your takeaway right now? Take a couple minutes and ask yourself, why do I want to do really well in this class? What's your why? Own it. Look forward to serving you this semester. It's my privilege to be your instructor. See you soon.